Hi, Trent. Thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
We're going to be talking about tone production. Are there any parts of tone production or creating a sound that you feel like are things that you're wanting to work on?
I feel like overall I have a kind of airy tone. There's a subtone sometimes when I play, especially as I go higher into the altissimo register,
Okay.
or make leaps from the lower register to higher registers.
Okay, excellent. Do you have a long tones exercise that you do every day?
Yes, I do. It's a long tone exercise with overtones. Would you like me to play it?
Sure,
Or,
yeah.
I start at F and I go all the way down to low E, and I do 2 jumps at each partial, I guess. So let's do F. And I go for the partial of that and the partial above that.
Okay, great. That's a really great exercise to practice voicing, especially in the upper register. Do you have anything that you do that specifically works on just creating the most beautiful sound you can make?
Yes, a lot of times I'll sit on, I'm not pressing the register key when I do that, but I'll sit on like the note that it would be in if I had the register down, and I try to make the tone the same as if I was had the register key pressed down, I guess.
What about in the lower register?
Lower register, this isn't exactly like creating the best sound, but I'll try and play as loudly as I can, and then try to have a super even decrescendo down to as soft as possible.
Okay.
And I believe that that helps me like create a sound, or at least get a range of sounds that I want, I guess.
That's a great exercise for developing control of your airstream and your dynamic range. And there's so many different long tones exercises we can do. But since you mentioned, you said the tone is a little bit airy, a little bit stuffy, working on getting that more clear, let's try to do just a very simple exercise where we're working on that. And we're really thinking about breathing and the sound we're creating. We're really listening for that, so that we're working on, I guess, that most beautiful sound, right?
Gotcha.
That when you play, you want to play with your most beautiful sound most of the time. So let's just do a simple chromatic exercise. What I want you to do is really focus on your breathing. We're going to listen really critically to the sound, and you're going to play 4 notes slowly. Take a good breath, play 4 more notes. So and for now, I'll just have you go up to high C.
Okay.
But I want you to really, really listen to the sound, because I'm going to ask you about what you hear afterward.
Gotcha.
Okay, so tell me what you heard when you're playing that exercise.
I can hear a subtone, I think, at almost all points when I'm playing. I think it's a long-term issue that I've had, but there's definitely some points where like tone quality is like really good, and then other points where it's like, not so great. But
Can you be specific about maybe where that is in the register, or is it certain notes that stick out for you?
I think it's certain notes. For me, it's D and A, and E and E and A. Yeah.
Good. So one of the advantages to this exercise is that we can, because each note's next to each other, we can try to find the sound that we want. And then as we go up, we want to try to match that tone. Now, the clarinet is a very uneven instrument because it has open tone holes. It's built on a 12th. So it has a lot of I love the clarinet, but it has a lot of problems.
Right.
So we have to do a lot with our voicing, with our air, to adjust for the inequalities of the instrument. And if you go slow and really critically listen and you find, oh, I don't like my D, but I like my C, right? Then you can kind of sit and compare as you're working.
Right.
So that's something we want to do at the higher levels of tone production, is really work on that consistency of the range, because the clarinet isn't equal. We have more resistant areas of the clarinet. We have less resistant areas of the clarinet. And so we're trying to find that balance.
Right.
There's a couple of things I notice as you're playing, and I don't know what you're feeling as you're playing, but one, it looks like there's a lot of upper body tension.
Very true.
Yeah, okay. Especially in the throat and just kind of across the chest and shoulders. So that's something we want to address, because that's going to make a difference and impact in your sound and how the air comes out. The other thing is, sometimes I see you take a pretty good breath and sometimes not so much. It's a little bit more shallow.
Gotcha.
So let's work on the breath first, and then we'll work on relaxing the upper body. Do you do any breath work or breathing exercises?
Yeah. I do one with, like, you take those, like, the tiny straws that you get from, like, coffee cups.
I've got one right here.
And you take, like, some form of, like, ping pong ball or, like, tennis ball or something, and you, like, try and stay relaxed in the fingers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But yes, that is the one I do.
Do you do any work to sort of like work on the muscles down here in the core?
Yeah, for that, this one is a little bit weirder. I take a piece of paper, I put it on the wall, and then I try to take my hand off, and I try to keep the paper on the wall with my airstream.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do just some basic breathing just to get it working, and then we'll try to work on kind of doing that through the clarinet. So if you can take your hand, place it over your stomach, and then take your other hand and put it behind your back. So that we're trying to feel, and you can scoot forward on the chair if you need some room. We're trying to feel expansion in both places. So out with the stomach, out with the back. We're trying to breathe down into our lower abs as we breathe to engage the core. So just try a few breaths in and out.
How do you move your back when you breathe?
I'll get to that. Just we'll hear a few.
Okay.
Okay, good. So one of the ways you can tell if your breathing is deep enough is by the pitch of the breathing. So your breathing right now is a little higher, like a little bit higher. And what I want is more of like the, like Darth Vader kind of sound. Like, you hear how much deeper that breath is versus so see if you can engage more down here. Open up more in the back of the throat, more of like an O. Ooh, that's so much better. Great. Do a few more of those. I'll listen. Good. And imagine you're putting the air into your stomach, like you're drawing it up from the floor and it's going here, even though it's not. Nice. As you go, it looks better and better. Yeah, and it sounds better. Can you hear the?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that just kind of tells you, okay, I'm on the right track. Now, do you feel any expansion in the back as you're going?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Well, that's easy then. Awesome. Okay, so then let's talk about the exhale, and it's going to be related to our tongue position and our embouchure. So one exercise you can do to find the right tongue position is this thing, I kind of call it the cat hiss thing. You're gonna basically send your air really fast. It's gonna sound like this. And you're gonna aim to hit the air right here behind your front teeth.
Gotcha.
So you can just try it. It's a little weird. Good. So try to see if you can flatten your tongue just a little bit more so it's more of a he sound, and really try to feel the air hitting here and bouncing off. Great. That sounds fantastic. Okay, good. And then what we do is we bring the embouchure in, we add that by engaging the corners, bringing that forward. And then what we do is we take that point of the air at the front and we're directing that down the angle of the clarinet, right? Because it has to go this way.
Right.
But if that point of the air is too far back or it's non-existent, then we kind of lose control and we lose focus in the sound. And part of what gets that clarity that you're talking about versus the stuffy sound is that focus of the sound. So you'll start with the thing, and then you're going to add the embouchure, so it's going to be like, I'll demonstrate. And you're trying to push from here as fast as you can.
Gotcha.
Good. That was better you at the end. Good. Now, can you combine that with a deeper inhale? Because that you kind of want that time, and I want to.
Yeah.
So we're practicing both things together. Good. Awesome. Okay. So let's just try that into the instrument now. And we'll just try it on a low E. Try to feel the point of your ear at the front and then directing it down with the tongue position and the embouchure. Make sure to take a really good deep breath. Listen for that low pitch and keep the throat open as you breathe in.
Gotcha.
Good, and try to send that air really fast, like that intensity that you're doing, that we want that through the clarinet. The other thing is, this time I saw you set your embouchure as you were playing.
Gotcha.
Try to get it set first and then send the air through.
Okay.
Faster, push. There you go. Good. So you hear how all of a sudden we get more clarity, we get more focus in the sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like that? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I want to work just quickly because we saw the thing with the embouchure. So can you see if I hold the ear up here? Okay. So why don't you go and set like you're going to play again, and then just pause, get the embouchure all the way set before you blow out. Do you see it move?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It was better that time, but it's still moving.
Right.
So anytime that you move, whenever you're starting a note, bad things can happen. So try that one more time. See if you can get it all the way down. So we tend to relate the air and the embouchure together, like starting a note means everything, but really we breathe in, we set the embouchure, we breathe out.
Gotcha.
So you can even practice without the clarinet, right?
Right.
And try that once without the clarinet. Breathe in, set the embouchure, breathe out. Yeah, try not to let anything change. I saw the cheeks puff a little bit that time.
Do it again.
You see the cheeks puffing?
Yeah, I do.
So try to think about you, right? Our cheeks are in. I'm not sure what valve they'd be out, but I don't know. It's a weird thing we do sometimes.
Yeah, I'm still moving on a tiny bit.
Try it with your hand on your cheeks one time.
Okay.
Set your embouchure and then just blow out. That was better. Yeah, so, I think, how long have you been playing the clarinet?
Since 5th grade. I should really figure out how many years that is.
I've lost track now at this point, but it's been a while,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's been many years. And so sometimes when we get later into our careers, we have like, I call it baggage, you know, like a teacher is like a good therapist because we've had things that we've done incorrectly for a really long time, or just because certain things were hard, like going across the break was really hard, but it's not for you anymore. But you might still be moving your embouchure or doing weird things with your tongue every time you go across the break, because in your mind, going across the break is hard. Right? And so it's the same thing as like when we start a note on the clarinet. When we first start, it's really hard to make a sound, but it's not hard anymore. So you've got to get rid of all this force, right? Pushing, and you know how to do it properly. So try to get rid of that movement and that tension and just connect to the embouchure and the breath.
Gotcha.
Want to try it one more time?
Yes, with
just the embouchure.
Yeah, it's still moving. I'll have to. This will be something I'll have to sit down and really think about when I get home.
Yeah. Try it one more time. And the hand here and the mirror helps because then we have a visual aid and a kinesthetic aid, and so it triples the speed at which we can learn. Good. Okay. So you can practice this like with your coffee straw is a great way. Let's go to the mouthpiece and barrel.
Alrighty.
We can just connect it a little bit to the clarinet. Now it's going to be hard. You're going to want to do what you naturally have done. So let's force on separating the three things. Breath in, embouchure set, breath out. And don't worry what happens. Don't try to push out. Don't try to force anything out. You're allowed to squeak, whatever. We're just trying to get the mechanics right. So. I'm just trying to feel that connection from right here to the reed. Everything else is going to be really, really stable and still. A little bit of movement, but a lot better. Yeah, awesome. Wanna try one more? Yeah, that one was even better. And I don't know if you could hear the difference, but the sound was a lot more centered. The attack was more clean that time. So we want to try to be aware of embouchure movement. It happens mostly when we start notes, or if we have large intervals, going across the break, tonguing. All those things are things to kind of watch out for movement. Okay, let's go back to that low E. Do a few more long tones. Just see if we can put all of this together. So to review, deep breath in, listening for that low pitch, open throat. And then that higher tongue position, feeling the point of the air at the front of our mouth, pushing the air fast, and trying to keep the embouchure stable. That's all you have to think about.
All right.
Do you want the mirror? Is that helpful?
Sure.
Okay. Good. The tone is a lot clearer. Good. Yeah, the sound is already better. I think what will help getting a clear attack is just getting rid of that movement. Yeah. But low E is a hard one to start, so work up to it, and you'll be able to, get rid of that here.
Right.
So just, lastly, I just want to touch on the relaxation part of it. So hopefully you're already feeling less tense because you're breathing more engaged. Your core is doing what it needs to do. But I do have an exercise for throat tension that might be helpful if you don't mind taking your barrel off.
Oh, barrel.
Have you done this before?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's really helpful in identifying and getting rid of throat tension.
Oh, just the barrel.
Just the barrel, I know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So you're going to take the smallest end, whichever is smallest for you, You're gonna put it in your mouth and you're just gonna breathe in and out. So remember when we talked about that O kind of breath that we want?
Yeah.
This is gonna help us keep the back of our throat open and relaxed. Good, are you like more aware, kind of feeling the air in the back of your throat?
I'm definitely more aware of like the tension that I have in my throat. Yeah.
Good, okay, so let's try we'll put the clarinet back together. You're gonna be able to hear throat tension more in the upper register. So we'll try upper clarion notes, so maybe just a G.
Okay.
And I want you to really think about your breathing. Try to keep your upper body nice and relaxed. And then see if you can keep your throat relaxed now that you're aware of it. Doesn't mean our tongue position is lower. We don't want to be like, oh, in the back, but just kind of feeling that relaxation, openness in the throat.
Right.
Good, so really try to force the pushing from here and that everything else all the way up is relaxed. Do you ever sing?
No.
Oh, you should. I
really should,
You don't have
yeah.
to in front of people, but because singing is our natural way of making music. And this is just, it's an extension of our voice. It sounds a lot better than my voice, but try singing. Let's sing that G before you play. If you don't mind singing that G.
Definitely. Da.
Good, now imagine you're singing through the instruments. Feel how nice and easy it is to sing. That, to me, sounded so much more relaxed and open and colorful. Can you try that one more time?
Yeah.
If you're singing first, just feel how natural and easy that is.
Da.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, I would encourage you to sing more. You sing very nicely on pitch.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Especially if you're doing voicing, you're working in the upper register. Singing is so helpful. It helps us learn to relax. It helps us hear the pitch before we play. So it just connects to that natural voicing that we have.
Gotcha.
Well, I really enjoyed working with you.
I really enjoyed working with you as well.